Hey guys, tonight we are not just talking about another self-help technique. We are embarking on a deep, investigative journey into the heart of one of the most influential books ever written, Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. The quiet hum of a Sunday evening, tinged with the low-grade anxiety of the week to come. And like any formula, there is one critical catalyst, one binding agent that, when introduced, causes all the other elements to react and transform into something entirely new. The premise is this: if you can dedicate yourself with monastic discipline to the correct and persistent application of this one principle for 30 consecutive days. Napoleon Hill gave it a name. That sounds almost clinical, almost deceptively simple: autosuggestion. Your subconscious mind is the massive, powerful engine room deep in the hull. The crew in this engine room are immensely powerful and diligent. They will work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, without fail. But they are blind. They cannot see the ocean, the stars, or the final destination. They only follow orders. Your conscious mind is the captain, standing on the bridge, holding the map, with a clear view of the destination. Autosuggestion is the telegraph system that connects the bridge to the engine room. When the captain, your conscious mind, decides on a clear, definite destination, your definite chief aim, and then repeatedly, confidently, and clearly sends that order down the telegraph, the engine room crew, your subconscious mind, engages the massive engines and steers the ship precisely toward the destination, navigating storms and currents along the way. But what do most people do? The captain gives a half-hearted order: let's maybe head towards the island of success. A few minutes later, doubt creeps in, and a new order is sent. No, wait, that's so hard. Let's just float here for a while. Then fear pipes up. There might be pirates over there. Turn back. Head for the safe harbor of mediocrity. The crew in the engine room receives this barrage of confusing, contradictory orders, and the result is chaos. The great ship of your life either spins in circles, drifts aimlessly, or remains stuck in a port it longs to leave. Autosuggestion, when practiced correctly, is the art of being a decisive captain. It is sending one clear, consistent, and emotionally charged command over and over again until the engine room accepts it as the only valid order and works tirelessly to carry it out. It is mentioned in its own chapter, but its true significance is woven into the very fabric of every other principle. Autosuggestion is not merely one of the 13 steps. It is the vehicle that carries the message of your desire to the part of you that can actually fulfill it. It is the sole agency through which you can voluntarily feed your subconscious mind thoughts of a creative nature, or, by neglect, permit thoughts of a destructive nature to find their way into this rich garden of the mind. Think of it this way. Imagine your subconscious mind as a plot of the most fertile, rich garden soil on earth. It is utterly impartial. It possesses no will of its own, no sense of morality, no preference for what it grows. Its singular, powerful purpose is to nurture and bring to fruition any seed that is planted within it. It will grow a beautiful, life-giving fruit tree with the same enthusiasm and efficiency with which it will grow a deadly nightshade. It does not distinguish between the two. The conscious mind, the part of you that is listening to my voice right now, the part that worries, plans, and reasons, is the gardener. Every single day, you, the gardener, are planting seeds into this fertile soil. The problem is, most of us are unconscious gardeners. We allow seeds of fear from the nightly news, seeds of doubt from a critical colleague, seeds of envy from social media, and seeds of limitation from our own past experiences to be scattered carelessly into this precious soil. And then we are shocked when our life's garden is overgrown with the weeds of anxiety, scarcity, and frustration. Autosuggestion is the act of becoming a conscious, deliberate gardener. It is the decision to stop allowing random stray seeds to take root, and to begin purposefully, methodically planting only the seeds of what you truly desire to harvest. Seeds of success, of wealth, of health, of confidence, of purpose. You will set in motion forces both internal and external that will begin to rearrange your world to match the picture you hold in your mind. This isn't magic, it's mental science. When Andrew Carnegie, the steel magnate and one of the wealthiest men in history, first challenged a young Napoleon Hill. He didn't just ask him to interview successful people. He commissioned him to codify a philosophy that could be used by the average person to achieve any station in life they desired. Carnegie and his contemporaries, men like Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, and Harvey Firestone, understood this core principle. Even if they didn't all use the same name for it, they understood that their vast industrial empires were first built in the invisible realm of their own minds. They knew how to impress a definite aim upon their subconscious with such force and faith that it would then move heaven and earth to manifest it. This is the secret that has been passed down, not in boardrooms or business schools, but through the esoteric wisdom of the world's most effective people. It is the secret of turning thought impulses into cash, of turning dreams into addresses, and of turning a life of quiet desperation into a symphony of purpose and achievement. For the next 30 days, you have the opportunity to stop being a passive spectator in your own life and become the conscious architect of your destiny. And it all begins by understanding and applying the forgotten key. Without this catalyst, the other ingredients remain separate, powerless, and inert. This single principle is the ignition switch for the entire philosophy. It's the mechanism that takes a vague, formless wish and begins the tangible process of transmuting it into its physical equivalent. It is the bridge between the conscious mind, where we formulate our desires, and the subconscious mind, the vast, powerful workshop where the blueprints of our reality are actually drawn. Most readers gloss over the chapter on this principle. It sounds too simple, too strange, or perhaps too much like work. They are eager to get to the secrets of planning, leadership, and decision-making, not realizing that without mastering this foundational step, all other efforts are like building a magnificent skyscraper on a foundation of sand. It is doomed to collapse under the first sign of pressure. This principle is not about thinking positively in a general, passive sense. It is an active, deliberate, and scientific process of command. It is the act of giving your subconscious mind a direct, unequivocal order and ensuring that order is carried out without question. It is the very first step in taking control of the one thing over which you have absolute, undeniable dominion, your own thoughts. The jarring sound of the alarm clock on a Monday morning, pulling you from a dream where you were truly alive into a reality that feels muted. You go through the motions, the commute, the coffee, the tasks, the meetings. You perform your duties. You are competent. You are responsible. But deep down, in the silent moments when you're alone with your thoughts, there's a persistent, nagging question. Is this it? Is this the grand adventure I was meant to live? You see flashes of the person you could be, the artist, the entrepreneur, the leader, the adventurer, but that person feels like a distant stranger, separated from you by a thick wall of glass. You feel a vast, untapped potential churning within you, a silent reservoir of energy and talent with no clear channel for release. This feeling isn't failure. It's the profound ache of an unfulfilled promise. It's the soul's rebellion against a life lived in a minor key. Many of us have accepted this as the default state of adult life. We call it being realistic. We call it growing up. But what if it's not? What if this persistent discontent is actually a signal? A compass needle, frantically pointing toward a truer north. Napoleon Hill would argue that it is precisely this divine dissatisfaction that serves as the raw material for greatness. It's the fuel, but without an engine to burn it in, it remains just a puddle of flammable liquid, inert and wasted. For decades, people have looked to his work, Think and Grow Rich, as a manual for building that engine. They read about the 13 principles: desire, faith, specialized knowledge, and so on, and they treat it like a checklist. They try to have more desire or develop more faith, but it feels abstract, like trying to grab smoke. The results are fleeting, if they come at all. Frustration sets in, and the book is placed back on the shelf, its secret still locked safely inside. For decades, millions have read it, but only a fraction have truly harnessed its power. Why? Because within its pages, buried beneath 13 well-known principles, lies one master key that activates all the others. A principle so powerful, yet so often misunderstood or dismissed, that it holds the power to fundamentally change the entire trajectory of your destiny. And we're going to put that to the test. This isn't just a discussion. It's a challenge, a blueprint. Tonight, I'm going to lay out how applying this one single, forgotten principle, with unwavering focus for just 30 days, can initiate a chain reaction of cause and effect that will reshape your reality. This is the story of the secret hiding in plain sight. It's a feeling so common as almost universal. The fundamental error lies in seeing the principles as separate, individual pillars of success. They are not. They are a chemical formula. This is the basis of the 30-day promise. The challenge we are exploring tonight is rooted in a law of cause and effect as old as time itself. So what is this master key? This forgotten catalyst that makes the entire philosophy of Think and Grow Rich spring to life. To take the analogy further, consider your mind as a great ship. This is the vast, critical difference between autosuggestion and what is commonly known as positive thinking. Positive thinking is often passive. It's a gentle hope, a pleasant daydream. It's the captain looking at the map and thinking, it would be nice to get there someday. Autosuggestion is an active command. It is the captain grabbing the telegraph, sending the order with force and authority, and having absolute faith that the crew will obey. For a long time, the brain was thought to be a static organ, that after a certain point in early adulthood, it was hardwired. We now know this to be completely false. The brain is profoundly plastic or malleable. Specific and emotionally charged statement of your definite chief aim, let us say it as to earn a specific amount of money by a specific date, to start a specific business, saying you repeat it with faith and feeling every morning and every night. You are giving your RAS a new powerful instruction. This wasn't a story of a single flash of genius. It was a saga of bulldog tenacity, a 2-year war waged against failure, doubt, and the ridicule of the entire scientific community. When Edison declared he would invent a safe, reliable, and affordable electric light, one that could replace the gas light in every home, the idea was considered a fool's errand. The world's leading scientists had proclaimed it impossible. But Edison had done something crucial. He had established a definite chief aim. His goal was not vague or fuzzy. It was concrete, specific, and he had publicly committed to it, creating a level of accountability that burned all bridges of retreat. He didn't just hope to invent a light bulb. He had already seen it, fully formed. In the theater of his own mind, the physical creation was, to him, merely a matter of working out the details. This unshakable inner vision, held with absolute faith, was the starting point of his journey. It was an idea he fed to his subconscious mind day and night. You are telling it anything related to this goal, any person, any idea, any opportunity, any piece of information is now a top priority. Filter for this. And so it does. Suddenly, you'll overhear a conversation in a coffee shop about a problem your business idea could solve. You'll scroll through the internet and an article will jump out at you, containing a key piece of information you were missing. You'll meet someone who knows someone who could be your first client or investor. These opportunities and people were likely in your environment all along, but your RAS, programmed with old instructions of just get through the day, filtered them out as irrelevant noise. Now, with its new programming, it serves them up to you on a silver platter. This is not magic. It's your own brain, working for you as it was designed to, based on the inputs you have consciously chosen to give it. It is constantly reorganizing itself, forming new neural connections and weakening old ones in direct response to our thoughts, behaviors, and emotions. When you repeat your statements with absolute conviction and a feeling of certainty, you are generating a specific emotional chemistry in your body. The emotions of faith and belief release different neurochemicals than the emotions of fear and doubt. This emotional state doesn't just feel better. It actually enhances the neuroplastic process. It signals to your brain that this new thought pattern is not just a passing fancy, but a core command critical for your survival and well-being. This is why lukewarm repetition is useless. The subconscious mind and the rash respond to the intensity of the signal. A whisper of a wish is ignored, while a roar of conviction is acted upon immediately. Hill understood this without knowing the terminology of neuroscience. He wrote, "Your subconscious mind recognizes and acts upon only thoughts which have been well mixed with emotion or feeling." He had discovered the operational manual for the human brain through observation and interviews, long before science had the tools to map the territory. So, when you commit to this 30-day challenge, understand what you are actually doing on a biological level. You are not just wishing. You are engaging in a precise, scientific process of mental and neurological engineering. You are the architect and the builder, using the raw materials of your thoughts and emotions to construct new pathways in your brain. And you are the programmer, setting the filter of your RAS to relentlessly seek out every component you need to bring your blueprint to life. The story of one of history's greatest inventors serves as a perfect, monumental example of this principle in action. He didn't just hope for an invention, he commanded it into existence. Every time you repeat a thought or perform an action, you strengthen the neural pathway associated with it, much like forging a path in a dense forest. The first time you walk it, it's difficult and requires conscious effort. But walk that same path every day, and soon it becomes a wide, clear, and easy trail. This is the physical mechanism of habit formation, both good and bad. When you deliberately engage in autosuggestion, you are not just repeating empty words. You are actively carving a new neural pathway in your brain. You are building a success trail or a wealth trail that, with enough repetition, will become your new default way of thinking. The old pathways of doubt, fear, and limitation begin to atrophy from disuse, like an abandoned trail being reclaimed by the forest. This is neuroplasticity in action. You are literally rewiring your brain's hardware to align with the software of your new, desired reality. It's not just thinking the thought. It is the process of impressing the thought upon the deeper, more powerful levels of your mind. In a single second, you are bombarded with millions of bits of sensory data. The feeling of your clothes on your skin, the hum of electricity in the walls, the countless objects in your peripheral vision, the ambient sounds of your environment. If you had to consciously process all of this information, you would be instantly overwhelmed and paralyzed. This is where the reticular activating system comes in. The RAS is a bundle of nerves at the base of your brainstem that acts as the ultimate filter, the gatekeeper between your conscious and subconscious mind. Its job is to sort through the flood of incoming data and decide what is important enough to bring to your conscious attention. And how does it decide what's important? It listens to you. It takes its cues from what you consistently think about, what you believe, and what you hold to be significant. Have you ever decided you want to buy a specific model of car, say, a red Jeep Wrangler, and then suddenly you start seeing red Jeep Wranglers everywhere? It's not that there are suddenly more of them on the road. It's that you gave your RAS a new command. You told it, red Jeep Wranglers are now important to me. Your RAS, the diligent servant, then begins to highlight every single red Jeep Wrangler in your environment, pulling it from the background noise and presenting it to your conscious awareness. Hill was explicit about this. Thoughts, by themselves, are inert. They are like data packets without an electrical charge. To have any influence over the subconscious, a thought must be mixed with emotion or feeling. Emotion is the electrical current. It's the fuel. A statement of desire repeated with the emotional intensity of a person dying of thirst, who has just seen an oasis, will have 1,000,000 times more impact than the same statement repeated mechanically 1,000 times. This is why the first principle in his book is a burning desire. That burning, all-consuming desire is the emotional fuel you will use for the process of autosuggestion. It is the fire that forges the thought into a physical reality. You are already a master of autosuggestion. You just may not be using it to your advantage. Every time you say "I'm so clumsy" and then drop something, you have successfully used autosuggestion. You gave your subconscious a command, believed it, and it was executed. Every time you say "I'm terrible with names" and then instantly forget the name of someone you just met, the system worked perfectly. Your subconscious mind is always listening, always accepting the premises you give it, especially the ones you repeat with conviction. It is the ultimate servant. It cannot argue back. Its job is to take your most dominant beliefs and thoughts and prove them to be true in your physical experience. If your dominant belief, fed by years of negative autosuggestion, is "I'm not worthy of success," it will subtly guide your behavior to ensure you sabotage opportunities and prove the belief correct. The 30-day challenge is about hijacking this flawless system. It's about a conscious mutiny against the negative programming of the past and instituting a new, empowering regime. For 30 days, you will become the vigilant gatekeeper of your mind, a practice he'll call of stupendous importance. You will consciously choose the thoughts you allow to enter, and you will deliberately use the tool of autosuggestion to plant the seed of your definite desire, watering it daily with faith and emotion. But how does this really work on a biological level? Is this just esoteric philosophy? Or is there hard science to back up the claims of this self-educated man from the hills of Virginia? As we will see, what Hill intuitively understood over 80 years ago, modern neuroscience is only now beginning to prove in the laboratory. The captain on the bridge is about to get a lesson in brain chemistry, what Napoleon Hill called autosuggestion and the subconscious mind. Modern science now describes in the language of neuroplasticity and the reticular activating system, or RAS. But how does the brain know what to focus on? Autosuggestion is the act of deliberately programming your RAS. When you create a clear, this process also explains the critical role of faith, which Hill describes as the head chemist of the mind. There is perhaps no greater testament to the relentless power of autosuggestion fused with a burning desire than the story of Thomas Alva Edison and his quest for a commercially viable, incandescent light bulb. The famous story is that Edison failed 10,000 times before he succeeded. The number itself isn't as important as the mindset it represents. When a reporter asked him, "How did it feel to fail 10,000 times?" on October 22, 1879, after countless trials, they tested a simple carbonized cotton sewing thread. It had to be grounded in a clear, repeatable, and practical method. It is not enough to say, "I want more money." This is the step that separates the dreamers from the doers. Hill is adamant on this point. There is no such thing as something for nothing. That is a wish, not a command. How much more? $1 more? The subconscious mind requires specificity. It works like a GPS. You cannot just enter a nice place as your destination. You must provide a precise address, so you must be definite down to the last dollar or penny. Write it down. Look at it. He distilled the very essence of turning desire into reality into a famous 6-step formula. This formula, found in the chapter on desire, is the practical instruction manual for loading your chosen command into the cannon of your subconscious mind. It is the how-to guide for the 30-day challenge we are undertaking. Many read these 6 steps and dismiss them as simplistic, but their power lies in their precision. They are designed to force your mind into a state of absolute clarity, leaving no room for the ambiguity that the subconscious mind abhors. Following these steps is not optional. It is the core practice. This is the work. It was not an exotic or rare material. It was common, humble, and had been there all along. As they applied the current, the filament began to glow, and it stayed glowing for a minute, then 10 minutes, then an hour, then hours. It burned continuously for 13.5 hours. The Menlo Park team had done it, but the story doesn't end there. Edison, being Edison, knew this wasn't yet the commercially viable solution. The process of autosuggestion continued. The command was refine, find a better, longer-lasting filament. This led his team on a global search, eventually leading to carbonized bamboo, which could burn for over 1,200 hours and became the standard for years. Edison's story is the perfect embodiment of Hill's philosophy. He started with a burning desire. He crystallized it into a definite chief aim. He applied specialized knowledge through his team and his own research. He used organized planning. In his invention factory, he drew upon a mastermind group of brilliant researchers. But the engine driving it all, The principle that sustained him through the 10,000 ways that won't work was his unwavering use of autosuggestion. He gave his mind a command and refused to entertain any thought or suggestion that contradicted it. He knew, with a certainty that defied all evidence to the contrary, that he would succeed. He had turned his mind into a finely tuned instrument for manifestation, an instrument that could not and would not accept failure as a possible outcome. So how can you, a modern individual without an invention factory, apply the same focus power Napoleon Hill, thankfully, didn't just give us the theory, he gave us a precise, practical formula. Edison's response was a masterclass in the application of autosuggestion. He famously replied, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." This wasn't just a clever public relations spin. It was a genuine reflection of his core belief system. He had so thoroughly programmed his subconscious mind with the certainty of his success that the concept of failure did not exist in his mental vocabulary. Each experiment that didn't work was not a dead end. It was simply data. It was progress. It was one more step toward the solution, not away from it. His reticular activating system wasn't programmed to look for failure. It was programmed to look for answers. Each failed attempt was his raw saying, "Not this way. Look over here." He had given his subconscious mind a command: find a material that will glow for hundreds of hours without burning out. His mind, in partnership with his diligent experimentation, worked tirelessly to obey the command. Think of the sheer force of what required. He and his team at Menlo Park, the invention factory, tested over 6,000 different vegetable growths for a potential filament. They tried everything, from coconut hair and fishing line to the beard hair from one of his associates. Imagine the scene, day after day, week after week, month after month. Each new material carefully prepared, placed in the vacuum-sealed bulb, and then, with bated breath, the electricity is applied. A brief, beautiful glow, and then fizzle, darkness, again and again. The pressure was immense. Newspapers mocked him as a dreamer. Financial backers grew nervous. His own team must have faced moments of profound despair. What kept Edison going? It was the engine of autosuggestion, fueled by his white-hot desire. He had created such a powerful, vivid picture of a world lit by his invention, and had impressed it upon his subconscious with such force that this inner reality was more real to him than the temporary setbacks in his laboratory. His faith was not a fragile hope. It was a deep, quiet, unshakable knowing. He was living in the feeling of the wish fulfilled long before it manifested. The breakthrough, when it came, was almost poetic. Napoleon Hill understood that for a principle like autosuggestion to be effective, it couldn't remain an abstract philosophical concept. The first step is to fix in your mind the exact amount of money you desire. The second step is to determine exactly what you intend to give in return for the money you desire. This is not a magic lamp. This is a principle of exchange. The universe operates on a system of value for value. What service will you render? What goods will you produce? What idea will you bring to life? What problem will you solve? This step is profoundly important because it grounds your desire in reality and forces you to think in terms of contribution, not just acquisition. It shifts your mindset from passive recipient to active creator. Be as definite in this step as you were in the first. I will give my full-time effort for 40 hours a week to building the most effective marketing funnels for my clients. 2024. This precision creates a psychological finish line, a point toward which all your energy can be directed. Or, I will write 1,000 words every single day to complete my novel. Or, I will create a product that saves people 5 hours a week. You are moving now. This initial momentum is critical. An object in motion tends to stay in motion. Your payment must be as clear as your price. This is the culmination of the previous 4 steps. You are taking all the components and forging them into a single, powerful declaration of intent. The third step is to establish a definite date by which you intend to possess the money you desire. It is the script that you will use for the final, and most important step in the process. Without a deadline, a goal is just a wish with no urgency. A deadline creates a gentle but firm pressure. What is the first thing you need to learn? The plan can and will evolve. The universe rewards action, not perfect preparation. When you read your statement at night, you are planting that seed in your subconscious just before it goes to work. For the next 8 hours, unimpeded by your conscious mind's doubts, it creates a container for your efforts. This 6-step method is the practical, step-by-step application of the science. It's the ritual that transforms a simple desire into a targeted, subconscious directive. Now, let's refine this and craft a statement so powerful it becomes a beacon for your subconscious mind. A weak, vague, or uninspired statement will produce weak, vague, and uninspired results. It tells your subconscious mind, this is not a someday project. This is happening, and the clock is ticking. A deadline focuses the mind wonderfully. It forces your reticular activating system to work with intensity, scanning your environment for the opportunities you need now. This is the antidote to procrastination. You don't need the perfect plan. This is your manifesto. It is the legal document you are filing with the Supreme Court of your subconscious mind. Therefore, how you craft it is of paramount importance. Again, be specific. In return for this money, I will render the most efficient and creative service of which I am capable. As a freelance graphic designer, not sometime next year, but by 11:59 p.m. on December 31st, see how this transforms the statement. It's no longer just about getting money. It's about becoming a person of value. It's about contribution. You don't need to write out a 20-page business plan here. This infusion of purpose is a powerful emotional fuel. This shows your subconscious that you are a co-creator in this process, not just a passive bystander. The 4th step is to create a definite plan for carrying out your desire and begin at once. Whether you are ready or not to put this plan into action, you need a starting plan. What is the very first step you can take? Who is the first person you need to call? Beginning at once is a powerful declaration of faith. It signals to your subconscious that you are serious. You are not waiting for conditions to be perfect. By taking that first, immediate step, you are pushing the boulder off the ledge and letting gravity, the law of cause and effect, begin to assist you. At the end of your statement, add a sentence that describes the feeling of having already achieved the goal. This is where you inject the faith and emotion that Hill insisted upon. It is the most vital component. The 5th step is to write out a clear, concise statement of the amount of money you intend to acquire. Name the time limit for its acquisition. State what you intend to give in return for the money, and describe clearly the plan through which you intend to accumulate it. Your task for this 30-day challenge is to craft your own personal statement following this structure. Make it yours. Use words that resonate with you. Print it out. Put it by your bed. It is your compass and your engine. But as you begin this journey, you will inevitably encounter an enemy, an insidious, internal foe whose sole purpose is to convince you that this is all a foolish game. This written statement is your contract with yourself. It is the physical manifestation of your mental command. Make it the first thing you see in the morning and the last thing you see at night. Read it aloud with the passion and conviction of an actor performing the most important monologue of their life. This is silly. You begin the 30-day challenge with a surge of enthusiasm and hope. On the contrary, it is the first definitive proof that it is beginning to work. The 6th and final step is to read your written statement aloud, twice daily, once just before retiring at night, and once after rising in the morning. And here is the crucial part. As you read, you must see and feel and believe yourself already in possession of the money. This is where autosuggestion happens. Reading the words aloud engages your auditory senses. Seeing the words engages your visual senses. But it is the active feeling of generating the emotion of gratitude, of success, of certainty that powers the entire process. When you read it in the morning, you are setting the programming for your RAS for the entire day. By day 4 or 5, the whisper becomes a more assertive voice. Look at your bank account. Now that we understand the 6-step formula, let's focus on its heart, the written statement. This is not just a to-do list or a set of affirmations. You're a fool. You should just stop this nonsense and get back to reality. This is the voice of doubt. It is the inner critic, the saboteur, the gatekeeper of your old reality. The words you choose, the emotion they evoke, and the clarity of the vision they paint will determine the speed and accuracy with which your command is carried out. A powerful, vivid, and emotionally charged statement will act like a laser beam, cutting through obstacles and illuminating opportunities. We are going to build this statement together, piece by piece, ensuring it becomes a living, breathing entity in your mind. First, let's revisit step 1 and 3, the amount and the date. This use of the future tense is crucial. It asserts your creative power over your future reality. The phrase "in my possession" or "under my control" is also important. It allows for the money to come through various channels in a bank account and assets. In a signed contract, it gives the subconscious mind flexibility in how it delivers the result. Next, we integrate step 2, what you intend to give in return. This part must be inspiring to you. It must feel like a worthy exchange. This is where you connect your financial goal to your sense of purpose. I will dedicate myself to helping 10 small businesses establish a powerful brand identity that allows them to thrive and connect with their ideal customers. It links your desire to a greater good, which resonates deeply with the subconscious mind. The more you can feel the positive impact of your service on others, the more energy you will pour into your statement. Then, we incorporate step 4, the plan. You just need to state the essence of your plan of action. My plan to achieve this is to first build a professional online portfolio, then reach out to 5 potential clients per day through personalized emails and social media, consistently delivering exceptional work that generates referrals and testimonials. This statement of your plan demonstrates your commitment to action. It says, "I am not waiting. I am moving. I am doing my part." As you read this part of the statement each day, it will reinforce your daily habits and keep you focused on the necessary actions. Now, we assemble it all into one cohesive declaration. But we're going to add a final, critical layer, the emotional anchor. Your statement might now look something like this. By December 31st, 2024, at 11:59 p.m., I will have in my possession or under my control the sum of $50,000. In return for this money, I will render the most efficient and creative service of which I am capable. As a freelance graphic designer, helping 10 small businesses establish a powerful brand identity that allows them to thrive. My plan is to build a professional online portfolio, reach out to 5 potential clients daily, and deliver exceptional work that generates referrals. I see this money in my bank account now. I feel the sense of security, freedom, and accomplishment it brings. I am filled with gratitude for its presence in my life. This final part, seeing, feeling, and being grateful in advance, is the master stroke. Gratitude is one of the most powerful creative frequencies. When you feel grateful for something before it is physically materialized, you are sending the strongest possible signal to your RAS and subconscious mind that its arrival is a foregone conclusion. You are aligning your entire being with the reality you wish to create. This is not lying to yourself. It is an act of profound faith. It is living from the end. Put it in your wallet. This statement is your sacred text for the next 30 days. You have crafted your powerful statement. You have committed to the ritual. The first few days, it feels invigorating. You read your statement with passion, and for a few minutes, you genuinely feel the thrill of your future success. But then, inevitably, it arrives. It often starts as a quiet whisper in the back of your mind as you lay brushing your teeth. Who are you kidding? Nothing has changed. This isn't working. By the end of the first week, it might be a full-blown internal monologue of ridicule. You really thought you could just read a piece of paper and become rich. And its appearance is not a sign that the process is failing. Think of your current life circumstances, your income, your habits, your level of success as being regulated by a mental thermostat. This thermostat has been set to a certain temperature for years, maybe even decades. It is the echo of old conditioning from parents, teachers, society, and your own past conclusions. They feel the discomfort, believe the voice of doubt, and conclude that this stuff doesn't work. They turn the thermostat back down and settle back into the familiar chill of their old comfort zone, feeling foolish for ever trying to change it. We must venture into the territory that Napoleon Hill himself explored in a book so controversial. It wasn't published until more than 70 years after he wrote it, Outwitting the Devil. In this extraordinary work, Hill frames the struggle not just as a battle against internal resistance. When you set a definite chief aim and impress it upon your subconscious mind daily, you are creating your own hypnotic rhythm. You are establishing a new, powerful, positive vibrational pattern. At first, this new pattern is weak and must fight against the powerful, established rhythm of your old habits and the collective negativity of the world. Long before he was a household name commanding tens of millions of dollars per movie, he was a struggling, unknown comedian living on the edge of poverty. But he possessed something far more valuable than money, a burning desire, and an unshakable faith in a future reality that existed, at the time, only in his imagination. Carrie's story is a perfect illustration of the six-step formula, executed with a flair and audacity that makes it unforgettable. This is the struggle we feel in that first week or two. It's the battle of two competing rhythms, the devil or the old negative pattern. We'll use every trick in the book to break your new rhythm and pull you back into the old one. He will whisper doubts. He will create minor annoyances and frustrations to distract you. He will tempt you with procrastination, telling you, you can skip reading your statement just this once. It won't matter. But it does matter. Every single repetition of your positive statement strengthens your new rhythm. Every time you give in to doubt or skip your ritual, you weaken your new rhythm and strengthen the old one. But as a cosmic chess match against a force he personifies as the devil, when you have a clear, burning desire, you are no longer susceptible to the stray winds of public opinion or fear. Persistence is the act of consciously maintaining your new hypnotic rhythm until it becomes stronger than the old one. Once your new rhythm of faith, success, and abundance becomes your dominant habit of thought, the law of hypnotic rhythm begins to work for you instead of against you. It becomes just as natural for you to see opportunities, attract success, and feel confident as it once was for you to see obstacles, attract failure, and feel doubt. You will have successfully outwitted the devil by taking control of your own mind and establishing a new, unbreakable rhythm. This isn't just a philosophical idea. It is a lived experience for countless successful people, some of whom have used this exact principle in ways that are almost shockingly direct and literal, as demonstrated by the incredible story of one of Hollywood's biggest stars. Your course is set. The devil has tools of doubt and fear can find no purchase on a mind that is fully occupied with a positive, definite aim. Think of your mind as a room. If the room is empty, any stray animal or dusty wind can come inside and make a mess. But if you intentionally fill that room from floor to ceiling with gold, there is no space left for anything else to enter. Your definite chief aim, impressed upon your mind through autosuggestion, is the gold that fills the room of your mind, leaving no space for the devil's negativity. For Hill, this devil is not a red-horned figure with a pitchfork, but a master psychologist, a negative force that rules the minds of those who do not take conscious control of their own thinking. The devil's primary tools are fear, doubt, procrastination, and indecision. And his most powerful weapon of all is a principle he calls hypnotic rhythm. But this period of intense resistance is the most critical phase of the entire 30-day journey. It is the force of nature that compels everything to fall into a fixed rhythm and stay there. It's why planets stay in their orbits and why seasons follow a predictable pattern. In human life, it is the force that crystallizes our dominant thought habits into our physical reality. If your dominant thoughts are of poverty and fear, hypnotic rhythm will seize upon that rhythm, make it permanent, and draw to you circumstances and events that match it. You become trapped in a poverty consciousness, a self-perpetuating cycle of negative thinking and negative results. The devil, as Hill describes him, doesn't need to work hard to trap people. He simply needs to lull them into a state of mental drifting. A drifter is anyone who allows outside circumstances and other people to do their thinking for them. They float through life without a definite chief aim. Their mind's open to any and every negative suggestion that floats by. The hypnotic rhythm of the world's negativity, the news, gossip, societal fears takes hold of their subconscious mind, and they become puppets, their strings pulled by forces they don't even recognize. It is the trial by fire. It is the crucible where your desire is tested. Are you merely interested in your goal, or have you committed to it? A mere interest will wither and die at the first sign of doubt. A true commitment, what he'll call a burning desire, will use the doubt as fuel. It will say, "Oh, you don't think I can do this? Watch me." Every time the voice of doubt appears, you must see it as a rep and a mental gem. It is an opportunity to strengthen your muscle of faith. Each time you successfully ignore the doubt and reaffirm your vision, you weaken the old neural pathway and strengthen the new one. You are literally winning the battle for your brain. It has no real power over you unless you grant it power by believing it. Welcome it as a signpost. It means you are on the right track. It means the old programming is being challenged. It means the ground is shifting beneath your feet. Your task during this 30-day period is to develop an attitude of serene and stubborn persistence. You must become a benign bull, gentle and calm in your demeanor, but absolutely immovable in your faith and your direction. You must hold on to the vision of your desired reality with a tenacity that would make Thomas Edison proud. Remember, you are building a new habit of thought, and it takes time and repetition to overwrite decades of old programming. The voice of doubt is loud at first, but with each passing day that you persist, its voice will grow fainter. The new voice of faith, quiet and hesitant at first, will grow stronger until it becomes the dominant voice in your head. But to truly win this inner war, we must understand the nature of the enemy on a deeper level. As Napoleon Hill did in his most controversial and perhaps most profound work. When the voice of doubt starts its monologue, your job is not to argue with it. Arguing with it gives it energy. Arguing with it means you are engaging with it on its level, which is the level of your old reality. Instead, your job is to observe it, acknowledge it, and then calmly and deliberately redirect your focus back to your written statement. You can say to it, "Thank you for sharing. I appreciate you trying to protect me, but I am in charge now. I am setting a new temperature." And then you pick up your statement and read it again, this time with even more feeling and conviction. You must overpower the signal of doubt with a stronger, more powerful signal of faith. This is your comfort zone. It's the reality your subconscious mind has been conditioned to accept as normal and safe. When you begin to practice autosuggestion with intense emotion, you are trying to turn up the thermostat. You are telling your system, the old temperature is no longer acceptable. We are moving up to a new level. The voice of doubt is the sound of the old thermostat's emergency system kicking in. Its job is to maintain homeostasis, to keep things exactly as they have always been. It perceives your new, empowering thoughts as a threat to the established order. It will do everything in its power to pull you back down to the old, familiar setting where it feels safe. It will dredge up every past failure, every negative comment you've ever received, every piece of evidence it can find to prove that your new goal is impossible and that you are not worthy of it. Understanding this mechanism is the key to defeating it. You must learn to depersonalize this voice. It is not you. It is a recorded program. This battle is where most people quit. They mistake the friction of the old reality resisting the new one for a sign of failure. So, when doubt creeps in, as it surely will, do not despair. To truly conquer the insidious voice of doubt, we must go deeper than just neuroscience and practical steps. Hypnotic rhythm is Hill's term for the law of habit, but on a grand, universal scale. The practice of autosuggestion, as we have been discussing it, is a declaration of war against this hypnotic rhythm of negativity. It is the ultimate act of non-drifting. Hill states that the devil's greatest fear is a mind that thinks for itself. The antidote to drifting is definiteness of purpose. This is why persistence is so non-negotiable. Hill calls it the sustaining power that ensures faith will not falter, If you ever need a modern, real-world, almost breathtakingly literal example of Napoleon Hill's principles in action, you need look no further than the story of the actor Jim Carrey. In the late 1980s, Jim Carrey was financially broke. He was driving a beat-up, unreliable car and struggling to make ends meet. Yet, he possessed a definite chief aim. He worked tirelessly at comedy clubs, honing his craft, developing his unique style of physical comedy. He went to auditions, faced rejection after rejection, but he never wavered. His breakout role on the sketch comedy show In Living Color brought him national attention. Then came the movie Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, a massive, unexpected hit. This was followed in the same year by The Mask and Dumb and Dumber. How can I feel happy about something I don't have? They ask, isn't that just lying to myself? This is where the concept of faith comes in. Engaging in gossip, watching fear-based news, or dwelling on negative thoughts is like trying to start a fire while someone else is pouring water on it. The change will likely not announce itself with a lottery win or a sudden, unexpected inheritance. The universe rarely works in such overt, cliché ways. Instead, the first signs of change are often subtle, like the faint light of dawn that appears long before the sun itself crests the horizon. These signs are the first physical manifestations of your new hypnotic rhythm, the first echoes of your command returning from the subconscious mind. Learning to recognize these signs is crucial, for they are the feedback that will strengthen your faith and fuel your persistence. For the remainder of the journey, you are canceling out your own efforts. During this 30-day challenge, it is imperative to go on a mental diet. You must be ruthless about protecting your emotional state. Your mind is a sacred creative space, and you cannot allow it to be contaminated with the emotional toxins of fear, envy, and doubt. Treat your emotional energy as your most precious resource, because it is. It is the currency of creation. The words of your statement are the blueprint. Your conscious mind is the architect, but the burning, passionate fire of your emotions is the master builder that will take the blueprint and construct it, brick by brick, in the physical world. As you continue this practice, this emotional fire will begin to produce tangible heat, creating small but significant shifts in your daily reality. Faith, in Hill's context, is not a blind, religious belief. It is a state of mind that can be cultivated and developed. He defines it as an anticipation of the possession of what one desires. It's the ability to live from the end result, not towards it. It's an act of will. You are not trying to fool yourself. You are choosing your emotional state deliberately, rather than letting your external circumstances dictate it. At first, this will feel artificial. It will feel like you're acting good act. The subconscious mind cannot distinguish between a real experience and one that is vividly and repeatedly imagined. This is a well-established principle in sports psychology. Elite skiers visualize a perfect run over and over, feeling the snow, the turns, the wind. Their brain and muscles fire as if they are actually on the slope. When the real race comes, the neural pathway for a perfect run is already deeply grooved. Jim Carrey became one of the biggest movie stars on the planet. You must use emotional anchors. What will this money do for you? Don't just focus on the number. Focus on the freedom. Feel the profound peace of mind that comes from paying off all your debts. Imagine the joy on your child's face when you can afford the education they deserve. Picture yourself handing the keys to a new house to your partner. Feel the exhilaration of quitting the job you hate to finally launch the business you love. These specific, emotionally charged scenes are the firewood for your emotional furnace. Before you read your statement, take a minute to call up one of these scenes in your mind. Live in it. Magnify the feelings. Then, while you are in that elevated emotional state, read your statement aloud. This infuses the words with the necessary power. You are piggybacking the logical command onto a powerful emotional wave. And just before Thanksgiving of 1995, the date written on his check, he signed a contract to star in The Cable Guy and was paid $20 million. He had not only met his goal, he had doubled it. The story has a poignant end. When his father passed away, Jim slipped that very check, the one he had carried in his wallet for years. into his father's casket is a testament to the dreams they had shared and the power of believing in something unseen. Jim Carrey's check is perhaps the most famous modern example of a written statement of purpose. It perfectly demonstrates that this is not just an old-fashioned idea from a 1930s book. It is a timeless, universal principle of creation. It also highlights the single most important ingredient, the one that ignites the entire process. And here is where his story becomes a masterclass in autosuggestion step 6. That ingredient is emotion. Deep, passionate, unwavering emotion. But if you simply place all those ingredients on the counter and look at them, you will never have a cake. You need to introduce an external energy source, the heat of the oven. The heat is what transforms the separate, inert ingredients into a completely new creation. Emotion is the heat in the recipe of manifestation. When you read your statement, "I will have $50,000 in my account," and your heart feels nothing, your subconscious receives a cold, dead signal. But when you read that same statement and manage to generate the genuine feeling of excitement, the thrill of freedom, the deep gratitude of already having it, you are sending a supercharged, high-energy signal into the depths of your mind. That is a signal that cannot be ignored. It is an order that must be acted upon. Napoleon Hill called it faith, but it can also be called belief, conviction, or what he described as a white heat of desire. Autosuggestion is the vehicle, but emotion is the fuel. Without it, the vehicle remains parked, beautiful but useless. You can repeat your statement 1,000 times a day, but if you do it with the same emotional investment as reading a grocery list, you will get 0 results. Your subconscious mind does not respond to the words themselves. It responds to the feeling behind the words. He didn't just write the check and forget about it. He carried the check in his wallet every single day. Every time he pulled out his wallet, he would see it. It was a constant, physical reminder of his definite purpose. He would drive his rusty car up to Mulholland Drive, a wealthy enclave in the Hollywood Hills, and he would park and look out over the sprawling city of Los Angeles. He would take out the check, look at it, and feel the emotions of already having achieved his goal. He visualized directors being interested in him. He imagined people he respected calling him for work. He felt the thrill of cashing that check. He was, in Hill's exact words, seeing and feeling and believing himself already in possession of the money. He was living from the end. He knew, with a certainty that bordered on madness to outside observers, that he was destined to be a massively successful and beloved comedic actor. To make this intangible desire tangible, he took an extraordinary step. He took out a checkbook, wrote a check to himself for $10 million, and in the memo line, he wrote "for acting services rendered." He then post-dated the check for Thanksgiving 1995, roughly 5 years in the future. This was not a joke. It was a contract with the universe and with himself. It was a physical, written statement of his exact desire, step 1. What he would give in return, step 2, acting services, and a definite date, step 3. He then began to put his plan into action, step 4. Think of the immense faith this required. Day after day, year after year, his external reality screamed that he was a failure. His bank account was empty. Rejection was common. Yet, he held on to the inner reality represented by that check in his wallet. He was consciously creating and strengthening a new hypnotic rhythm of success and wealth, directly opposing the hypnotic rhythm of his current circumstances. He refused to be a drifter. He refused to let his present reality dictate his future thoughts. Instead, he used his future thoughts to dictate his future reality. His RAS was programmed with a single, powerful command: $10 million for acting services rendered. His brain was constantly scanning his environment for any opportunity, any connection, any idea that would move him closer to the reality. The rest, as they say, is history. The story of Jim Carrey's check, like Edison's relentless pursuit of the light bulb, reveals the ingredient that separates those who successfully use autosuggestion from those who are just reciting empty words. Imagine trying to bake a cake. The words on the recipe: flour, sugar, eggs are the instructions. This is your written statement. This is the most challenging part of the process for many people, especially those who are logical and analytical by nature. So, how do you generate this emotion on demand, especially when you're feeling doubtful or tired? This is also why he places such emphasis on guarding your mind. As you steadfastly apply this principle for a week, then 2, then 3, a fascinating phenomenon will begin to occur. One of the very first things you will likely notice is a change in your own perception. This is your reticular activating system, now recalibrated by your daily ritual, beginning its work. A new sense of purpose will begin to bubble up from within. An old friend you haven't spoken to in years might call you out of the blue. It might not be the full $50,000, but an unexpected small check may arrive in the mail. The daily ritual of reading your statement, which may have felt awkward or forced on day one, will now feel as natural and necessary as breathing. You have proven to yourself, through direct experience, that you possess the power to influence your reality by first mastering your own mind. This is a secret that, once learned, can never be unlearned. To stop being a passive consumer of information and to become an active participant in your own evolution, the gap between where you are and where you want to be is not as wide as you think. It is bridged by a single decision, the decision to take control of your own thoughts. I challenge you to take the first step tonight. Don't wait until Monday. Don't wait for the new year. The perfect time does not exist. The only time you have is now. Take out a piece of paper and a pen. Go through the 6 steps we have discussed. Craft your own powerful statement. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be started. Write down the exact amount. Decide what magnificent service you will give in return. Set a definite date. Outline your initial plan and write that statement of command. Make a solemn promise to yourself that for the next 30 days, you will follow the ritual without fail. You will become the vigilant guardian at the gate of your mind. You will read your statement every morning and every night, infusing it with all the faith and emotion you can muster. It is a tool you can apply to any area of your life, your health, your relationships, your career, your personal growth. The path is simple, but it is not easy. It requires discipline. It requires persistence. It requires a faith so profound that it can hold a vision steady, even when the entire world seems to contradict it. But the reward is the greatest prize life has to offer: the realization of your own power, the fulfillment of your highest potential, and the freedom to live a life of your own conscious design. The choice is yours. You can continue to drift, allowing the hypnotic rhythm of the world to carry you along to a destination not of your choosing. Or you can seize the helm today, set your own course with definiteness of purpose, and begin the magnificent journey toward the destiny you so richly deserve. The adventure begins now. You have acquired the master key that unlocks every other door. The 30-day period was the incubation. You were strengthening the muscle of your faith in a controlled environment. Now, you get to take that strength and muscle out into the world and use it to build any future you can dare to imagine. The formula remains the same: a burning desire, crystallized into a definite aim, backed by a clear plan, and impressed upon the subconscious through persistent, emotionally charged autosuggestion. The voice of doubt, once a roaring antagonist, will have been reduced to a faint, powerless whisper easily dismissed. Instead, you will see them as Edison did, simply as data. They are temporary detours, not dead ends. They are feedback from the universe, guiding you toward a better path or a more refined plan. With your unwavering faith in your definite aim, you will have the resilience to meet any temporary defeat with the calm certainty that it is merely a stepping stone on the path to your inevitable victory. This removes the fear that paralyzes so many people. When you are no longer afraid to fail, you become truly free to act, to create, to dare, and to live fully. You will have outwitted the devil not just for 30 days, but for a lifetime. Because you now know that his only power lies in your own unquestioned, negative thoughts. The new hypnotic rhythm of faith and purpose will have become your default state. You have successfully weathered the initial storm of resistance and have come out the other side, not as the same person who started, but as a conscious architect of your own experience. This is the moment where the challenge ends and your new life begins. This is your first day of forever. The goal was never just about accumulating a specific sum of money by a specific date. That was simply the target, the training ground. The true prize is the person you had to become to achieve it. A client you thought you lost might come back with a bigger project. Your boss might offer you a small raise or a bonus. A side project you started might suddenly get its first sale. These are the first drops of rain that signal the coming downpour. It is crucial, absolutely crucial, to greet these initial manifestations with overwhelming gratitude. Do not dismiss them by saying, "It's just a small amount." This is the universe testing your faith. It's asking, are you grateful for this seed? If you greet a seed with gratitude, you will be given a harvest. Celebrate every single small victory as if it were the final goal. This act of celebration tells your subconscious mind, yes, that's it. More of this, please. This gratitude amplifies your positive rhythm and accelerates the entire process. These signs, the ideas, the energy shift, the synchronicities, and the initial material results are the proof. They are the evidence that the unseen forces have been activated. They are the confirmation that your 30-day journey is not an exercise in fantasy, but a methodical process of creation, leading you inevitably toward the first day of the rest of your life. And it will turn out they work in the exact industry you're trying to break into. You might go to a social gathering you almost skipped and meet the one person who can open a critical door for you. This is what many call synchronicity. It is the universe rearranging the chess pieces on the board to align with your new command. Your subconscious mind, which he'll believe is connected to a larger infinite intelligence, is influencing your environment in ways your conscious mind cannot comprehend. It is putting you in the right place at the right time. Your only responsibility is to be prepared and to say yes to these opportunities. When they appear, even if they seem scary or outside your comfort zone, the Monday morning dread may be replaced by a feeling of quiet excitement. You will find yourself waking up with ideas related to your goal. You'll carry yourself with more confidence. People will begin to react to you differently. A colleague might comment, "You seem different lately, more energized." A friend might say, "There's a new spark in your eyes." This is the outward reflection of your inner rewiring. Your new dominant thoughts are changing your posture, your tone of voice, your facial expressions. You are broadcasting a new frequency, and the world is beginning to pick up on it. This positive feedback loop is incredibly powerful. As others reflect your new energy back to you, it further solidifies your belief in the process. You will start to notice coincidences related to your goal. You might be listening to a podcast, and the guest will mention a book that contains the exact solution to a problem in your plan. You might scroll social media, and an ad will appear for a tool or a course that seems tailor-made for your next step. You might overhear a stranger's conversation in a cafe, and a single sentence will spark a brilliant idea you hadn't considered. These are not random accidents. These pieces of information were likely always in your environment, but your old mental filter, programmed for survival or mediocrity, deemed them irrelevant. Now, your new filter, programmed for your definite chief aim, highlights them in bright neon. Your world hasn't changed, your ability to perceive the opportunities within it has. Your job is to act on these nudges. Buy the book, research the tool, explore the idea. These are the first breadcrumbs on the trail. Simultaneously, you will begin to notice a shift in your own energy and demeanor. Then, the coincidences will start to involve other people. Finally, you will begin to see the first tangible, material signs. As you approach the end of your 30-day challenge, you will arrive at a profound turning point. The real transformation is the unshakable knowledge that you are not a victim of your circumstances, but the master of your fate. This journey fundamentally rewires your relationship with failure. You will no longer see setbacks as personal indictments of your worth. So, what is the call to action tonight? It is not merely to think positively. It is to begin. This is the hero's journey. It is the oldest story in the world. The journey from an ordinary life into the realm of the Extraordinary.